As an old player who had his love for this game revitalized, I have been on a journey learning a bunch of old archetypes that I forgot about in my absence from years not playing this game, as well as archetypes and cards that I've never heard of, and today we're going to be talking about the Meklord archetype. I have a lot of experience specifically with Meklord Emperor Granel, and there was one other Meklord card that people mixed into their decks. Back in the day, I used to be a big scrap player, so I would always mix in a couple Meklord cards because it was pretty useful. I've never really looked at too much of the entire archetype. I remember playing around with it a little bit, so I don't know if any of these are new cards or old cards. Regardless, we are going to be either learning or relearning about them today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's get started with the first Meklord right here. Meklord Army Deployer Obligado, okay? 1200, 1800, 4-star monster. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Destroy this card, and if you do, special summon two Meklord Army monsters from your deck in defense position, except for this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except machine monsters. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. During the end phase of this turn, you can inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Meklord monster you control. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, the fact that you just flat out get two Meklord monsters onto the field on top of that, you could always get a little bit of burn damage. You can go for game. I mean, I doubt this will be a card that you're using for game, but I think it's an okay card. It's an okay card. Automatically, you can do whatever you want. You can probably get an XYZ. You can probably get a Link monster out on the field. You get two monsters for one. It's a pretty good card to start things off. This is an old card for sure. I remember this one. Meklord Army of Granel. Okay, 1600, 1200, 4-star. Gains 100 attack for each Meklord monster in the field except this card. When this card is normal summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, half that target's attack until the end of the turn. It's okay. Not the best card. This is more of a older, better 4-star monster. Like back in the day, like, you know, when I was playing, when I was just talking about like the era where I was playing scraps, this would be more helpful then, but I can't see this card being exactly that good in the modern game. Let's continue on to the next Meklord Army card. Gains 200 attack for each Meklord monster in the field except this card. When this card is destroyed by battle instead of the graveyard, you can special summon one Meklord Army monster from your deck. It's still not exactly all that useful, eh? You'd have to use it in a previous format. Now you can't just, like, draw, set my monster, set a trap card, end my turn, because you're going to get murdered. The game that we loved no longer exists, so this card, unfortunately, isn't that great either. Let's continue on. This one looks familiar to me. Meklord Army of Weisel. Gains 100 attack for each Meklord monster in the field except this card. Once per turn, when another Meklord monster you control declares an attack on a defense position monster, you can activate this effect. During that battle, if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. I hope this isn't the way that all of the cards are going to go, because it's not that big of a deal. It'd be better if it was like all Meklord monsters did inflicted piercing battle damage. These effects are just too weak nowadays, man. Way too weak. And as somebody who's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis, and I've been experiencing what it's like to fight against archetypes of the modern game, oh my god, I can barely keep up. I've been using my Counter Fairies, my Skull Servants. My Skull Servants are barely getting by. Only having success with Counter Fairy. But I guess we'll learn it as we continue on. I also recognize this card over here. Meklord Astro Dragon Asterisk. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by controlling 3 or more Meklord monsters. When this card is special summoned, you can target any number of Meklord monsters you control except this card. Send those targets to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's attack becomes the combined original attack of the monsters you sent to the graveyard by this effect. Each time a synchro monster or monsters is special summoned, inflict 1000 damage to the summoning player. The second effect would have been more helpful again in the previous format when the Meklords kind of like came out, or at least like most of the Meklords ended up coming out. I don't know if it's like really worth it. You want to get rid of 3 Meklord monsters just to get this bad boy out? What if it doesn't work out? I get that you can pile on the attack, but I don't know. I don't even love that one. You special summon from your hand. You don't even get it back from the graveyard. No revive effect or anything like that. Let's continue on over to the next Meklord monster. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 Meklord monsters with different names from your graveyard. See, that's a little bit better of an effect. That's a little bit better of a way to get a card out. It's an option that's always there in the graveyard for you. Once per turn, when this card declares an attack, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and equip 1 monster from it to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of those equipped monsters. While equipped with a synchro monster, this card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. This is a much better card. This is the best card that we've taken a look at so far, and I do not recall ever seeing this card before. Maybe they did get support over the years, I'm not sure. But I love that you can get this card out from the graveyard. It's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to get 3 Meklord monsters into the graveyard. Then you could take from your choice one of the synchro, or excuse me, is it a synchro monster? I already forget. One monster from the extra deck and equip it to this card. You could just, if your opponent's going to use a card and you know it, you could just take it. That's amazing. I love that. And it gets multiple attacks. Excellent, excellent card. Best Meklord we've taken a look at yet. I also don't recognize this thing over here. This big boss monster. Cannot be normal summoners set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 Meklord monsters from your hand or graveyard. By sending 3 Meklord monsters from your hand to the graveyard. Excuse me. I thought I just said or graveyard. I was like, what? Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters equipped to it by this effect. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can send one of those equipped monsters you control to the graveyard to inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. Okay. Again, this is a monster for the formats of the old. Not everybody's using synchro monsters anymore. You see it every once in a while, but like it's not common enough to the point where this card's even worth running, let alone just getting it out by sending 3 Meklord monsters from your hand to the graveyard. This card, unfortunately, as cool as it is and as cool as it would have been to use back in the day, it's no longer anything special. Let's continue on to my favorite Meklord monster and the inspiration for this video, because I was thinking about what kind of archetypes we wanted to do. Dude, there have been so many times where I've just mixed in Meklord Emperor Granule into a deck that wasn't even scrapped, but I loved this card in my scrap deck, guys. Scraps are one of my favorite archetypes to ever play, dude. There's no way there's a modern scrap deck that could work, right? I highly doubt they got support, because I've been following, over the years, while I did quit the game, every once in a while I would take a peek at some things that are going on in the world. Never noticed anything with scraps, and I doubt any sort of scrap deck would work in the modern format. So if anybody knows anything about that, please let me know. Anyways, my favorite Meklord monster, one of my favorite cards to use, Meklord Emperor Granule. Cannot be normal summoner set, must be special summoned by its own effect. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card, gains attack and defense equal to half your life points, and attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters equipped to it by this effect. You can target one of these equipped monsters, special summon that target in your field in defense position. So, I just flat out loved that you could get a monster on your field for such a nothing thing. Your cards get destroyed all the time. Then it gains attack equal to half your life points. If this thing happens to pop up towards the beginning of the game, it's phenomenal. Especially back when I was using it with the scraps. And I think that this card, honestly, you could still throw this card into a main deck. This is, how I always talk about, depending on whether or not you watch a channel, I talk about how I just throw Moon Mirror Shield and I throw Dark Sanctuary into pretty well every single deck that I use. I think they're very underrated cards. You can kind of do the same thing for Meklord Emperor Granule. I've always enjoyed having this card in my deck. It's just fun. And if your opponent happens to have a synchro monster out, you can get it. I love this card. Plus, I love taking my opponent's monsters. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I've always been a big fan of creature swap, enemy controller, those types of things. Let's continue on over to the next Meklord over here. This one looks very familiar. Maybe this is the other one. No, I don't think so. There's another Meklord monster that I've mixed into my scrap deck. I feel like I'll know it when I see it. Anyways, cannot be normal summoner set, must be special summoned by its own effect. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you can control cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to the combined attack of all the equipped monsters by this effect. You can send one monster you control that's equipped to this card to the graveyard. This card can attack your opponent directly this turn. It's a good card. Not as good as Meklord Emperor Granule in my opinion. To be honest with you, I'd rather just run double copies of Meklord Emperor Granule than I would this card, but definitely a good card as well. It's weird to see a 1-star with 2200 attack. That's the one I was thinking of. Meklord Emperor Weasel. Yes. Dude, I'm getting so much nostalgia making these videos looking at old cards because, again, I've taken years off of this game, and now I'm just, diving into the Genesis format. I originally was diving into the Edison and the Hat format. Now I'm really enjoying myself playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Genesis. Anyways, let's talk about Weasel, okay? Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by its own effect. When a face-up monster you control is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard except during a damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack. Once per turn, you can target one synchro monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card, Gains attack equal to the combined attack of all the monsters equipped to it by its effect. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card quick effect, you can negate the activation and destroy it. So, a little bit similar to Meklord Emperor Granel, and it just has its own built-in attack points, and it has that quick effect where you can negate spells. So, I also think that this card's pretty good. I used to play around with both of them. I, again, was a big fan of Granel just because every once in a while you could just, oh, hey, nothing happened. Here's my 4,000 attack monster. That's what I liked about it. So, both of those cards I like. This card's still good. That's something, honestly, dude, you can mix it into just really any deck. I know I'm probably weird for that, but I have always liked those cards. Okay, let's continue on to a different version of Meklord Emperor Weisel here. Yeah, they've had to have had support over the years because I don't really recall this card at all. Anyways, 2500, 1 star again. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by its own effect. During your opponent's turn, this is a quick effect. You can send one face-up Meklord monster you control to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Meklord Emperor Weisel once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can target one monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack for the rest of the turn. When a card or effect is activated to destroy a card or cards in the field, this is a quick effect. You contribute this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. It has its uses, but I would rather run the other Meklord Emperors, to be honest with you. I don't even know what's going on in this artwork over here. Maybe, I don't know, it's getting torn apart. I don't know, dude. We'll make a card art commentary eventually on this card, but let's continue on over to the next Meklord monster over here. We have Meklord Nucleus Infinity Core. I don't recognize any of these. There's no way I don't remember all of these. They've had to have support over the years, okay? 1 star, 0/0 machine. The first time this card be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Meklord spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon 1 Meklord Emperor monster from your hand or deck with a different attribute for the monsters you control, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can only declare an attack with 1 monster. You know the only thing that I don't like about these Meklord cards? If you're trying to compete with the things of today, which obviously, like when these cards came out, you would have to think about this. I don't like that it always just restricts your attacks. I don't like that you can only attack with 1 monster because every other deck under the sun, here's my 4,000, 3,500, 6,000 attack monster, and I'm going to attack with all of them multiple times per turn. Something that's still nuts is the power creep in this game. But anyways, I like the fact that you can flat out just get a Meklord Emperor monster from your deck. That's always great. So I think that this is a good card. It's definitely something that I would mix into the deck. Let's continue on to a spell card. Boon of the Meklord Emperor. If the only face-up monsters you control are 2 Meklord monsters, 2 exactly, eh? Draw 2 cards. You cannot conduct the battle phase of turn you activate this card. See? Why the restriction? That's the thing that's really stopping this. This is something like, okay, you have 2 exact Meklord monsters, draw 2 cards. I think that's okay enough. That's not, like, powerful enough. You'll draw this card, it'll be a brick sometimes. It should just be the draw 2 cards, but I understand it was a different time where these cards came out. But guys, let me stop you for just a second because we have many more cards to take a look at. As you might know, I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. We upload daily commentaries on multiple niches and different kind of channels. So if you're interested, you happen to like me, you happen to like my commentary, want something playing on your background, again, we upload daily commentary videos on multiple different niches on YouTube. You can check out the links to those channels at the top of the description of the link tree or the direct link to all of those videos or those channels, within the description down below. Like, subscribe, comment down below if you help out the algorithm. I appreciate that. We're trying to grow this channel over here, guys. Let's continue on over to a continuous spell, Meklord Assembly. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Meklord monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Meklord Assembly per turn. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can discard 1 card, then target 1 monster you control, destroy it. If a face-up Meklord monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one other face-up spell or trap on the field, destroy it. I would imagine there's going to be a spell or trap that we run into that's going to activate like the Meklord monsters when they end up getting destroyed by a card effect. Otherwise, that wouldn't make sense. What are you going to run, Gear Town? That's what we used to do. You discard 1 card to target 1 monster you control and destroy it. I don't know if I like that, to be honest. That's a little bit too much of a minus. But again, I'm sure there's other spells and traps that we're going to end up running into over here. We also have Meklord Astro the Eradicator. Very interesting card artwork on here, okay, guys? Target 3 Meklord monsters with different names in your graveyard, add them to your hand, or special summon them ignoring their summoning conditions. Until the end of your next turn after this card is activated, you cannot special summon monsters except machine monsters. If you control a Meklord Astro monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy 1 synchro monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, so The synchro effect is pretty good already, but just the fact that you can target 3 Meklord monsters with different names in your graveyard, put them in your hand, or special summon them ignoring the summoning conditions, this is one of the best cards of the archetype. This is an incredible card. That just might be the best card. 3 monsters? Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's continue on over to a quick play spell, Meklord Deflection. Target 1 Meklord monster you control. Your opponent takes no battle damage from attacks involving that face-up monster until the end of this turn. Also, its attack becomes permanently the combined original attack of all Meklord monsters you currently control. If a Meklord monster or monsters you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only activate 1 once per turn. I like that a lot. To get a Meklord monster permanently, dude, that's also a really good card. You can save it from attacks as a quick play spell, or you can just like use it during the end phase or something, getting ready for the next turn. Incredible. Ooh, they have some good spells and traps so far. I'm excited to see what else we have over here. Meklord Factory is the next one. When a Meklord monster in the field is targeted for an attack, target 1 Meklord Army monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand, and then destroy the attack target. Very specific if you're looking to get one of those Meklord Emperor cards out. Let's talk about a field spell over here in Meklord Fortress. Neither player can target Meklord Emperor monsters you control with synchro monster effects. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Meklord Emperor monster from your deck to your hand. You know what? That would even be worth using. Like, I get that people run synchro monsters. Like, this is definitely a side deck card in my opinion. And again, this was made, I guess, for the formats where every single deck ever was running synchro monsters. Now you run into decks where you don't see synchro monsters at all. So, it used to be good. But I would, at the maximum, I would put this thing in the side deck and cycle it out depending on whether or not my opponent used synchro monsters, because I'd be running Dark Sanctuary. Let's continue on to the Resolute Meklord Army. It's a continuous spell. All attack position Meklord Army monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, their effects are negated. I don't know how I feel about that one. If their effects are negated, they kind of lose the attack point boost that they get. So Granule would be at like 0. You would have to stick with the 2500 one, the Weisel card. But I get that like you could use it if you want to attack with all of them, or if you like have a card on the field that says like you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn, things like that. I don't know if I would use this one. I don't think I would, to be honest with you. I was all excited to take a look at like these banger spells and traps. We have a couple of them that are really good, but let's get into Mech Timed Blast. Target 1 Meklord monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls. Destroy them. Honestly, I think it's a good card. If your monster is going to be destroyed anyways, you can use it as like a sort of Icarus attack. I don't know if that's a outdated reference, but that's what I thought of. I think it's good. I think this card would be pretty useful, to be honest with you. Let's also continue on over to Reboot. Shuffle 1 Meklord monster from your hand to the deck, then target 1 Meklord card in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Not worth the trouble at all. There has been some cards in this archetype that's flat out useless nowadays, and there's some other cards where I'm like, dude, that card is actually pretty awesome. So thank you so much for learning about this archetype with me. And if you want to hear me learn about another archetype, why don't you check out where I learned about the modern Yubel cards over here. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.